Oh, hello. Hi. Welcome to another episode of the Just Gaming Tingz Podcast. We're an all queer cast and we talk about gaming and all the things related to it. Ooh, so sexy. My name is Ruby. Hello, hi. Joining me today are the lovely Dextralicious. Hello, hi.
Hi.
The lovely Koga Jangles. Hello, hi.
Hello, hi.
And the iconic Spin Blends.
Oh my god, hi.
Hi. That was the least clownish intro I've ever done. And are you proud of me? Just
My minor clownness.
yeah, just a little bit.
Just a sprinkle.
Just a sprinkle of clownish behavior. Alrighty. Listen. Let's just address the elephant in the room. Microsoft did a thing that shook the entire world. It's the acquisition of the century. Microsoft is set to purchase Activision Blizzard for how many millions or billions?
Like 70 billion
70.
or around that.
Yeah, it was like 76 billion or something like
I
that.
heard it said it was 69 billion, so nice. I also saw an article that said 68.7 because they really didn't want to say 69.
Because they're sophisticated.
Cowards.
Well, but we're not sophisticated, so we're just gonna go with 69 million, or billion, billion.
B.
Yeah,
That's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot of money. That's why I'm confused. I'm like, I can't compute that much money existing, and apparently it's set to be like an all like cash situation, which makes it honestly kind of camp.
Not all cash for 76 billion.
They just get like a big briefcase that's like the size of a neighborhood and like
Or like they have people like coming to infiltrating the Activision Blizzard building overnight and like setting up like confetti, but it's like actual money, so it's just like money raining from the
it's
ceiling.
The piggy bank from Squid Game.
Not those.
Well, so naturally, everyone's talking about this because of a lot of different reasons that we can't get into because we have nothing else to talk about anyway. So I think one of the main things about this discussion is obviously he who shall not be named.
Voldemort?
Might as well be at this point. The Bobby, the responsible for a lot of bullshit going on in Activision Blizzard. He's still there, obviously, and a lot of people were like angry, rightfully so, but also kind of in a misguided way because it's like the acquisition isn't like completed yet. There's still a lot of discussions on whether or not it can even be completed. But as far as everything goes, the main question, I guess, would be like, why would Microsoft even want to touch Activision Blizzard? Like, why would anyone even want anything to do with that? And yes, Koga.
I'll take money for 500.
Money, you know? No, but I think I'm thinking, and I was actually listening to like a couple podcasts about this, and it actually does make a lot of sense that like this is probably a deal that has been like in the works for like a long time, to a point where like things may have not been public or lawsuits may have not been in place yet. So that's like what I hope is the case. I hope that they wouldn't. But I mean, I guess the other alternative is Microsoft potentially looking at Activision Blizzard and being like, oh, they're a fucking mess. Let's just buy them and fix them so that they can keep making good games. So like that's kind of good. That's, I guess, the best outcome, I hope, was like what was going on behind the scenes. But yeah, what were y'all's initial reactions when you first saw the news? Because I'm sure there was no absolute escaping from this.
I was excited.
You were excited.
Do you want to start, Coca?
Yeah.
I mean, for me, I'm going to be completely honest. I was excited about it. I mean, what can I say? I'm a Game Pass Ultimate user, so I mean, of course, most of us was like, "Oh, so we're about to get now. I don't have to buy all these games. Great." So I mean, it can be considered a hit and miss in some ways because you don't want Microsoft to gain like everything. But I mean, when they gain stuff, I mean, if you're on their platform using Game Pass, it's just like a huge plus. Like they have Bethesda, they have a partnership with EA, so you don't get their new stuff right away. You just get their stuff that's on the subscription, that their base subscription. So, and now you're going to get like all these games, which I mean, it just adds a lot. So for me, it's overall great, but I don't want them to like get like too much. Like I personally would love for Sony to have an answer, but Sony spent way too much time playing it safe and doing what's work, which I can't blame them for that because people buy it all that anyway. But Microsoft has just been changing like everything around the gaming industry, and now Sony kind of has to do something, and I want them to do something because I love Microsoft. But I also know how business is. If they get enough of too much, then it's going to be them becoming a dickhead the same way Sony did, the same way. I mean, Nintendo's kind of always been a dick when you think about it. But, I mean, I can understand some people's concerns about it. Like, I guess some games may not be on PlayStation no more, but I'm going to be completely honest. I don't care because when I went to Spider-Man and Marvel, y'all laughed at me. So, suck it.
That's a very interesting thing that I feel like isn't talked about enough. It's like when Sony has like, you know, all of their exclusives, everyone's like, oh, you know, it's like Sony's thing. It's like, you know, like just get a PS5 or whatever. But when Microsoft gets an exclusive, all of a sudden it's like, wow, evil corporation ruining gaming for everyone and making things exclusive for their platforms. Wow, I can't believe anyone would do that. And then Nintendo was like sipping on their tea, like, what are y'all arguing? Like, y'all will never see my games on any of your platforms. Like, Nintendo is just like, listen, I am the boom boom evil corporation. Yes.
Yeah, Nintendo's completely on their own planet. But yeah, people are kind of weird about that. Like, they're okay when like Sony does it, but when Microsoft does it, it's kind of like wrong. Like Sony, they've also bought up a few studios. Just Microsoft has been throwing more of their money around, which, I mean, of course, I mean, it's good for the library. Bring back Guitar Hero, please, and don't do that Guitar Hero Live nonsense again. I'd appreciate that. But I mean, so overall for me, it's hard for me to not be happy about it because when they do, it comes to Game Pass, which means it's going to be available on, you know, Android, PC, and all that, which means more people can play together. Where you honestly don't need to buy an Xbox. It's just easier to play them. And if Sony did it, it would just be you can only get it on PlayStation, maybe PC in a few years. And that's kind of, I think that's, for me, that's kind of, I guess you say, the issue of where Sony's, which I would like to see them do something to combat this. Because, I mean, if they do something like this, we all win in the long run rather than it being one taking over everything. It's just that with Microsoft, you can play it on almost anything. Soon you're going to be able to like plug a dongle up to your TV and play it. But for PlayStation, you have to spend $400-$500 on a console, and good luck finding it.
Right.
And Microsoft is just play it on whatever. And when you add all these games that they're about to get on top of what they already have, it just makes it seem like it's more of a deal. Because as of right now, they haven't mentioned them raising the price. I mean, they're going to at some point. But I mean, for $15 a month for Game Pass Ultimate, the more they get, the more service, the better the service is. I think they have like 25,000. Oh, was it million? 25 million?
Yeah, they just announced like a huge number of like subscribers recently, so I'm not worried about them at all.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, what did you think, Dax?
I'm excited.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, you're fine. Go ahead.
Oh, for me, like, I don't know what I was thinking. I just kind of opened Twitter, and then of course, like it was on like the top trending that day, and I was just like, I wasn't sure how to feel because it was just like I'm hoping that Microsoft acquiring Activision Blizzard will hopefully do more to fix the company than Activision Blizzard themselves have been doing, because we all know that they're not doing anywhere close to enough. So I'm hoping Microsoft's able to do that, because like I don't want to like just assume, but like from what I've heard, it's like Microsoft's like a kind of like a better company in terms of like treatment, as far as I've heard, but that could easily be wrong. But as far as I know, it's just like it's been fine for the most part. So I'm just like hoping that they can kind of like reconstruct Activision Blizzard and, get rid of, the bad apples that are in there. So I'm really hoping that we can just thrive with this acquisition, and that the company would be better as a whole. But I don't know what to think of it just yet, since we have like a year until it like finalizes.
Yeah, definitely. I feel okay. I saw it, and my feeling is like very cautious. Like not even cautiously optimistic, just like cautious. Because like this is definitely image rehab for Activision Blizzard. Like there's no one's like that's why they're doing this. Like it's image rehab because like Microsoft has a lot of goodwill as far as gaming goes, and like is seen as like and like they have done a lot like to make gaming more accessible, and I'm not knocking that at all. It's just like this is definitely image rehab for Activision Blizzard, and I am hoping that with that image comes actual change. Like I don't want this to erase all the work that the employees of Activision Blizzard have done in like trying to unionize and trying to change things in the company from within. I want Bobby Kotick out of there. Like I don't want. But basically, what I'm scared is going to happen is that Activision Blizzard is going to be owned by Microsoft, and then everything's going to be the same behind the scenes, and people will be like, "Oh, it's a different company now. Everything's fine. Like Microsoft's good." Like I'm hoping that this leads to like actual like change. You know?
Yeah.
And I'm scared that it's just going to be like just an image rehab, and like people are going to forget about this.
Yeah. I think there have been some articles. Again, I think everything is mostly speculation and alleged, because like I mean, even the acquisition itself is not really set in stone until, like what Dex said, until next year. And we could still get into the whether or not this even can happen, because that's another point that people have been making. But supposedly Bobby is supposed to get taken out of it, and by taken out, it's probably just bought out, because he has a certain amount of stakes in the company and all that stuff. So people are also saying that part of why the acquisition was so expensive was so that they could actually spend that money to get him out of there, and to and another thing that people are saying is the longer people are theorizing, and again, this is all very alleged, people are theorizing that if Microsoft keeps Bobby around while they're still finalizing the details and all of that stuff, they can just fully fire him without having to pay for what would be like what people are referring to as a golden parachute to get him out of there with like a wild amount of money, and they would essentially just pay him, and he would either earn nothing or like close to like nothing in comparison to what he would earn if he were to leave like today, because people were making like not assumptions, but people were making like calculations based on what his contract is set to be like and all that stuff, and it would be like $250,000 or something to get him out of there if he were to leave like today. So there's that, and so I agree with you, Spin. I hope that as this acquisition takes place, if it does take place, and if everything goes smoothly, I hope that things do actually change, and that the employees at Activision Blizzard do get to be heard, and hopefully, they'll have a company like Microsoft who hopefully has their back and hopefully will help implement changes that are needed in that company. And I am cautiously optimistic about it, because I don't think that Microsoft would spend so much money to then have their reputation be ruined by association of Activision Blizzard. You know what I mean? So I do think that they, especially like they did a thing where they showcased like Microsoft gaming division and like how like they changed some things around there as well. And it's not really my place as a white person to say how diverse it is, because I do think that we still need a lot of work on that front. But it was a very refreshing look at who's like at the top of the chain, as far as like a lot of the employees are women, and a lot of them are people of color, and you know what I mean? So it's like, it's not the usual like, here's the people in charge of Microsoft gaming and it's just like white men, right? So there's still a lot of work to be done on that end, and obviously the industry as a whole. But I do really hope that if anyone could do it, I think Microsoft could. It's just a matter of like, will they?
Right.
And how everything will, or can they, right? Because even I remember vaguely when they acquired Bethesda, it was kind of like they still operate as their own entity. They just happen to be owned and have resources from Microsoft. So it's kind of one of those things of like, can they even interfere in that manner? And if they can't, then, well, guess who's not downloading your games on Game Pass? So that's a thing. I am excited for the prospect of the employees getting the justice that they deserve, and people actually getting to play and be proud of the games that are being made over there, because I'm sure there's a lot of amazing people making amazing things that aren't getting that recognition, because everyone, like, not everyone, but a lot of people are like, I don't want to promote, endorse Activision Blizzard, so I don't want anything to do with it. So I hope that this leads us into a path where, gaming culture can kind of reclaim Activision Blizzard again, and like everything will be fine, TM,
I do want to like say something.
Yeah. You want to say something on a
like-
podcast?
Oh my god, imagine me talking on a podcast that I'm a co-host on.
I'm screaming.
I feel like you might be overestimating how much the general gaming public cares about this. Because like this is a big deal. Like, yes, of course, this is a huge deal,
Mhm.
and like in the gaming world, like of course, like everybody cares about it. But I feel like your average person is just gonna look at this and be like, "Oh, I can get all the Call of Duties on Game Pass."
Oh, I know.
Cool.
Yeah, I
Like-
understand.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't think this is like as much of a reputation ruiner as like you might think.
yeah,
That's
like
fair.
if I have to be completely honest, if they wanted to keep him on, they'd be totally fine. People would be upset about it. But let me ask you this:
Yeah.
How has this really negatively affected them in terms of the sales in their games since this whole thing has started?
Yeah, you're not wrong. I think Call of
So,
Duty was number 1 and number 2 most sold last year. So
The thing that's kind of funny about that is that over the past week, I've been seeing people talking about like who still plays Call of Duty and all that. I'm like, you know how much money this franchise makes?
yeah,
Right.
A lot. Like heck, off Warzone, they just make a lot of money. I'm like, yeah, it's still a thing. I mean, yeah, some people may not care for the newer ones as much, but no, they still make money. But I mean, the only thing that I've been hearing about, I guess, out of oh god, I forgot that dude's name already. Was it Bob? Was that his name? I don't
Bobby
remember his name.
something.
Yeah, Bobby Kotick.
Yeah, Bob. Yeah, I'm gonna just call him Bob. So the thing is that I guess from what some people have been saying is that I guess he's still going to be there until the buyout is completely done, and then he's supposed to step down. I don't know. We'll see. I'm not sure if it's going to be a step down, and he may still get paid behind the scenes or something. I don't know. Like, who knows what their relationship is after that point?
Right.
But I mean, that's probably like I think maybe the only thing that may happen. But I mean, of course, hopefully there'll be some change that goes on. I mean, I have no idea what happens at Microsoft, so who knows?
Right.
They could be kind of not great either, outside of what it is we see. But I mean, I do hope this does, of course, bring change for the people who are working at Activision, and maybe they can get Bob out of there. I almost forgot his name again. But I mean, right now we have to see, because I think it's supposed to end like sometime in 2020 next year. So
yeah,
I don't know. We'll see. But I mean, unfortunately, it's one of those harsh realizations, is that a lot of these big issues that you see a lot of people talk about in the gaming space that happens, if it came down to sales making impact,
right,
ain't no impact happening. It's just, okay, this is happening, but games are still going to sell, and unfortunately, that I don't see that changing like at all. And I get why. I understand why. It sucks, but it's just that's the way it is.
Yeah, I mean, I do think that there's some value to social media as far as like investors. I'm assuming, a company like Activision Blizzard trending for the worst possible reasons will probably get a few investors to back off a little bit and for their stocks to drop a little bit. But you're also not wrong in the sense of like that drops, but then like here's a teaser for Overwatch 2, and all of a sudden it's like the stocks go all the way up again. So who's to be fully sure? We'll see. But yeah, I mean, it's actually kind of funny looking at the best sold games of 2021, because it's a lot of companies that I feel like, as far as the gaming industry TM goes, I feel like it's a lot of companies that get like shat on for good reason. So like, in case people are not aware, the NPD released the numbers. I think for digital sales only, it's retail and digital for 2021, but Nintendo's don't count. Like, they can only count the digital for some reason. So the top 5 include Activision Blizzard, number 1 and number 2, with Call of Duty Vanguard and Black Ops Cold War, respectively. EA with Madden NFL 22 and Battlefield 2042. And then in 4th place, we have Miss Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, which probably would have been higher up on the list if they had the retail numbers, which is wild to think about. Because those are all companies, I feel like, that in the social media conversations, I feel like in the general, not general public, but the general gaming discussions that are had, it's always like the bad guys are always like, obviously EA for the microtransactions, Activision Blizzard for obvious reasons, and then Nintendo for doing the bare minimum as far as their own standards go. And it's interesting that if we're going to judge off of this alone, then it's like none of these companies have any incentive to change. But I do think that social media and I feel like even media itself, like seeing articles on the New York Times about like, is Bobby going to leave, is probably pressuring Microsoft to be like, maybe we should do something about that if we haven't thought about it, which I'm sure they have, because they even put out a statement back when the lawsuit was going on, and I'm sure they were working on the deal back then and being like, fuck, we need to say something about this, or else it's going to look even worse whenever it's announced that we're going to acquire them. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. I do have another question, which is also another thing that has been brought up by a lot of people, obviously, which is it fashion? No. Is it a monopoly? Would this be considered a monopoly? Would this be too far? Is this even fair? Can this even be done? And what are y'all thoughts when you hear this argument? Do you think this is a monopoly? Do you think this is too much? What do you think?
I feel like we wouldn't really be able to call it a monopoly until it happens, because like as far as we know, we don't know like what exclusivity Microsoft will have, but like also like the main thing is like with Game Pass allowing PC, it's like logistically like, yeah, Microsoft also does computers, but also I feel like that's like a wider range, and like that only emits like Switch and like Nintendo and Sony. But I don't know how Microsoft will do anything with Activision Blizzard. Like, we don't know if they're still going to like allow them to just be on all the consoles or just have like a temporary exclusivity to it. Like, I feel like it's hard to tell if it's going to be a monopoly over like a company until like we actually experience the company under Microsoft. So it's very hard to tell from this early, I personally feel, but I guess we'll just have to see.
That makes sense. Yeah, personally, I'm kind of like, I'm not 100% ready to say it's going to be a monopoly, but considering that like they would own 4 out of the 5 of those top games you just listed, for like topmost sales, and that's kind of, ooh, I feel like if that's not a monopoly, we're getting close. Like, ooh,
Yeah.
we're getting pretty close there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, I can't say for sure, obviously, because like I'm not an expert in this kind of thing, but like it's giving a little bit of a monopoly. It's giving Monopoly Man monocle. He's around the corner. He's peeping in with his monocle.
Right.
Go past JL. Go past Go.
I do think that like I don't think this is necessarily a monopoly because there's still so many studios and there's still a lot of successful companies that exist that aren't like, you don't need to be the top 10 to be extremely successful in the gaming industry. But I do think that we are past that. Like I feel like the era where a monopoly could have happened was when there were literally just like 2 major consoles, you know what I mean, where it was like Nintendo and Sega. But now that there's like, I feel like unless the only way this could even be close to a monopoly or an attempt to a monopoly is if somehow Microsoft bought Nintendo or something like that. You know what I mean? Or if they try to buy Nintendo and Sony kind of thing, which will never happen. Well, let me say
they tried to buy Nintendo, and apparently Nintendo laughed them out of the room.
Yeah. And I can very much imagine that Nintendo being like, "Oh, you think that's a lot of money? Interesting you would think that." But yeah, I don't think this is a monopoly, and I think there have been a couple things written about this from people who are more knowledgeable about this than I am, about what would be considered a monopoly, and they also say it really wouldn't, because technically Microsoft would act as a publisher and not as like a developer over them. So it would be like if a developer bought another developer kind of thing, even though Microsoft does develop games and it's a whole thing. But I do think that the main thing is like I don't think they would make a lot of their games exclusive, which would be kind of another thing that we can get into after this, I guess, after we're done with the monopoly talk. So in my opinion, it's only a monopoly if they buy Ubisoft, because they own the rights to monopoly the game. Ooh, no, just kidding.
I gotta go.
Oh, wow. Can you believe this? Can you believe this little cow?
Not my watch.
In the audio version, it sounds like you're calling me a little cow. Like, do you believe this little cow? For people who are just listening to this, Spin is holding a cow plushie and talking to the cow, not about
I'm
me.
I'm consulting my little cow.
Yeah.
Or if you want to believe in the drama, you can imagine that I called Ruby a little cow on the podcast.
And I'm into it.
It's not entirely out of the realm of possibility.
Or they have a real cow in your room.
I just have like a tiny little cow. Just like, can you believe this shit?
Maybe maybe the listening audience is winning on this day and they get to imagine all of those wonderful things. Is it fashion? Is it monopoly, Koga? What do you think?
I wouldn't say it's a monopoly just yet. I mean, they'd have to like buy up like more companies and things like that. But I mean, which they probably will try to. But it's just that with this one, it's just really, really big. But I guess it just scares some people, especially since mostly people some people still don't care about Microsoft, so that some of them may feel like they're not going to get the games on their platform or something like that. I mean, as far as I know, as of right now, they did say that the games that were originally contractually obligated to do so, they're going to. I do think it was a little bit funny that Sony was a little bit worried about that, so they gave them a call to make sure like that was all still happening.
I love
and
that.
They're like, yeah, they're still going to, but after that, who knows? Because I don't think we've had a completely brand new game from Bethesda come out. We just know like Elder Scrolls 6 is going to be exclusive on, Xbox. So it could be the same thing to where the games that were already set to come out on all whatever other platform is still going to. But then I don't know. Let's say Diablo 5 whenever they get to that in 10 years might be. 5.
Starfield is a Bethesda that is supposed to be a Bethesda, just a Bethesda, not a game, just a Bethesda.
Bethesda.
It's an upcoming.
Isn't that still coming to PS5?
No, it's exclusive. It's I think people assumed when it was first announced that it was going to be multi-platform, but then the acquisition happened, and then Microsoft said, no, she's going to be on Xbox and Microsoft Windows only.
Oh, yeah, I see that here from an article. It's like, yeah, so that's still coming to just Xbox. So that could just be a concern. A lot of people have that at some point, like they're not going to be able to play, I guess, Call of Duty on there and whatever else. And, I mean, unfortunately, I can understand that concern as well. I can admit that I'm a little bit biased. I mean, what can I say? I mean, I'm on PC and the games are coming to me, and it lets me play it'll let me cross-play, which is something that I've been complaining about for almost 10 years. So it's, I mean, like I said, that's why it's a miss, because it's like I don't want them to like take over so much, but they do so much of the things that I've like complained about that people felt wasn't a big deal, and it means if they own the studio, the games are going to be, doing that. So I guess when Overwatch 3 maybe, you won't have to worry about not being able to play on other platforms. And Sony is mostly the one who doesn't allow this. It's like you're stuck on this platform and you can't play with anyone else, which I've hated that ever since I built my PC like 9-10 years ago. Used gaming for Windows Live, that awful thing. Play Street Fighter 4 and the online UI looks the same, and I'm like, so why can't I play with people on Xbox? So I don't know, like I said, if you're someone who's just completely on PlayStation and don't care about Xbox, I can understand why if there's games that you're looking forward to that's not going to be on there. But I mean, now you know how I feel when I can't play Spider-Man. I can't play Wolverine. I can't play Demon's Souls Remastered.
Couldn't think of anything.
I was like, is there any other game you would want?
Well, I had to think about that because they do start releasing some of their games on PC. It's just that it comes like later on down the line, which that's another thing I don't have to worry about. Like we still ain't got Bloodborne. Right. So yeah, it's like it's not a monopoly, but it's just understandably it's concerning for people. But hey, what can I say? It benefits me. So.
Listen, gamers are selfish. You're also allowed to be selfish a little bit.
I mean, hey, if you're upset, don't you have a phone? Don't you have a tablet? You're at a computer. You can just go to the website and play it on the cloud.
No.
Yeah. At least you ain't gotta buy a whole console.
Well, I guess that's a good way to transition into game talk, because I personally don't think that they will do like multiplayer games exclusive for Microsoft, because I do think it would be silly. They would just lose money. You know what I mean? Like if they, because like from the second they bought like Minecraft, it's still multi-platform, very much so, and it wouldn't benefit them to take it away from like any other platform. So I don't think they're gonna take Call of Duty away from anyone. I don't think they'll be taking away any multiplayer experience away from anyone. I'm thinking they will probably have the juicy, early access things to it, like play the beta on Microsoft only, or maybe they get it a week early, or day one on Game Pass, which is definitely going to be a thing that I feel like is going to be enough of a grip for them to have on a lot of these games without necessarily having to make them exclusive. If they can just be like, oh, are you a subscriber to our service? Oh, you get this game day one and you don't have to pay any extra money for it. And everyone else is like, I guess I could just get it on PC and like play this game, instead of getting a PlayStation 5. Or, even if they have a PlayStation, then maybe like, oh, it's cheaper for me to just play it on PC or my Xbox or whatever. So I don't think that they will necessarily take away any multiplayer games away from anyone, because they wouldn't benefit from it, Like I don't think Microsoft is confident enough that to be like, oh, people want Call of Duty so badly that they would get like a better PC or an Xbox to play it. Like I don't think that they're at that level where they can get away with that. Maybe in a few years, maybe in like the next console generation, they'll be like, you know what, we want everyone to have an Xbox, and they can maybe flex that power over everyone else. But I don't think they'll be doing it within like a reasonable amount of time, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think next gen they'll definitely be able to do things like that, because like right now, despite the move they're making, they're still building. Like I said, the main platform is Game Pass, and they're still building that to the point where eventually it's going to be like, well, look at all this stuff that we have, and you can get this if you play on whatever, compared to where now, because people are still in that weird phase of Xbox doesn't have any games, which I've always thought that to be completely bogus, but it's kind of like when they're getting all these studios, it's going to be a different thing. So at some point, unless Sony has an answer, which honestly, hopefully they do, because competition is good for the most part, and it will maybe prevent them from doing that as much. Because if Sony doesn't do anything, or continues to just do the same-o, at some point Microsoft is going to be at a point where they can say, yeah, we can just put Call of Duty on ours and not on yours, because the next console generation will start, and they just start showing, okay, this only on Xbox.
Yeah. And then Microsoft would like win the long run game to be like, guess who has all the games now, bitch?
Yeah, they probably will, because that's what they've been doing for like the past 4 years. I think when we were doing like, it was an E3 that me and you were on, Ruby, and I mentioned like they're playing a very long game here. They're still doing it, so give it a few more years, and you're gonna really start bearing fruit. I want an Apple now.
Not the Apple, not Apple, not that one. Not the operating system.
No, they don't let me customize my things. So forget that. We do Android around here. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't really have anything else to add. I can just definitely see that happening.
Mm-hmm.
Especially in the next console generation.
Right.
All I have to say is, Microsoft, allow you to stream from your fucking console, and then I'll buy an Xbox. That's all I'll say.
You mean like stream like Twitch
like
streaming?
Like PlayStation does, yeah.
I think you
like streaming.
You can.
Might be able to. I think the newer, I think the new Xbox has Twitch integration. The older ones had Mixer, but I think
not Mixer.
It had Twitch as well. I tried it like a few years ago. Back when my internet was complete like ass, but it did have it to where you could just stream on Twitch right from an Xbox if you wanted to. Like I remember trying it from that old big VCR Xbox one.
VCR.
Yeah, that first one everyone kept calling, was it VCR? That one, the original.
Oh, the original. Oh.
Yeah. So.
Well, I was lied to. That's it. Okay.
Yeah, unless they change it or something, which I doubt. But I don't know. I don't know that many people who stream right off their console. I know some people still do, but I don't know any one.
The thing is, I always know people doing it for their PlayStation, but as far as I know, I've never seen anybody do it for Xbox. So I've just never known.
I mean, to be fair, a lot of people really didn't have an Xbox One.
True.
No, I'm on the Twitch creator camp page about it, and the series, as far as I haven't looked as far back as like other Xboxes, but the Series X and or S do have a Twitch app on the Microsoft store. And they have a whole thing where they recommend also installing the phone app so that you can customize and all that stuff. And there's even things with light stream and stuff like that where apparently there's customization that you wouldn't have on PlayStation that would be a possibility to do. So definitely something to look into. That's actually something that I also kind of learned, because I feel like everyone always talks about the PlayStation, like streaming directly from the PlayStation, but not there. I feel like there's not really too much of a conversation on the Xbox side of things. So something to take note of, I suppose. Suddenly Dex is like, an Xbox sounds very interesting right now.
I think
For sure. Okay, so I guess one last thing that we could kind of get into, and this is kind of like in an ideal world where Mr. Bob gets removed immediately from the company and Microsoft does everything right by all the employees. Are you excited for any particular like Activision Blizzard adjacent situations in the future as a product of like, now being a Microsoft product, and any potential of like maybe any series to have more of a thing or more of a push, if you will, or more of a situation?
I have kind of thought, because like I always was like, I'm not an MMO girly. I'll never play an MMO. And then I love Final Fantasy 14. So there's a part of me that's like, what about WoW? Like,
Dex is like, ugh, I don't know about that.
I don't know about that.
I'm not saying I will. I'm just saying
Right.
I'm curious.
Especially if the possibility is there with Game Pass and they have some sort of like crossover there where maybe if you
Right.
pay for Game Pass you don't have to pay for a subscription kind of thing. That could be interesting. As like, I mean, I have
I would
Game
do it.
Pass, so I'll try.
Like,
you know
I
what
would
mean?
do it 100%.
Yeah. I've definitely seen people on the streaming side of things be like, oh God, I hope that they do kick that man off of there so I can get back into the games that I did love, but I don't claim anymore. And I'm like, yeah, I get that. I'm
Right.
surprised you didn't say this, Spin, but I will say it for you. I'm willing to claim Crash and Spyro moving forward. If everything is done right by all the employees, I'm willing to claim that because surely they will be on Game Pass, and surely
Oh, yeah.
I hope maybe depending on the results of like downloads and stuff like that, there could be sequels to those. So that could be something that would be cute and fun.
I'm gonna be real honest though. I forgot that they own those.
Right. Me too. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about?
That's fair. Yeah, that's
Like,
fair.
like-
Because also those licenses have been jumped around so much. Like Ubisoft had some for a while, and it's just been a whole mess. Which is kind of funny to think that they were once PlayStation exclusives, and now they're on their way to becoming Microsoft's babies.
That is super weird.
Yeah, but hey, listen, if honestly, if this is a long con in order for Microsoft to create their own version of Smash, where we have the Halo guy and we have Spyro and Crash and who else do they own? Fuck, I don't.
Doom guy.
That's
The Fallout girl.
not the Fallout girl. The Fallout girl.
the Vault boy, whatever he's called.
Not Fallout boy.
The Vault. Vault. The little.
Yes, they're gonna put the band Fall Out Boy.
No!
They're gonna come out and be like, "We're gonna die."
No, absolutely not.
Yes, they're Vault people, the Vault Boys.
Yeah, the blondie with the blue suit, like the face of the vaults.
That'd be cute.
That would be really cute. He just traps you for like 10 years underground or something like that.
Yeah.
That's his ult. He just like traps you in a vault.
10 years in real time.
No, he like glitches through you for his ult. He like T-poses at you, you know. A usual Bethesda game, you know.
He does like the noodle arms like glitch where he's like tall and skinny.
Or like the one where he like glitches into something that's like vibrating violently because he's like stuck in something.
He disconnects you from your internet.
Oh my god.
Well,
I love this. Let's make it happen.
Listen,
Microsoft. It's all you. We're giving you free ideas.
that would be very powerful of them. Do you think Sony is like on a rush to like acquire like the other studios? Like Sony's like, let's acquire Square Enix, Ubisoft. Like they're just like, who else hasn't been bought?
They might as well get Square Enix, because Square Enix just doesn't really seem to care for Xbox like at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you like. I feel like we already associate Square Enix with PlayStation anyway, so it makes sense.
Yeah.
Literally, like Kingdom Hearts only having 3 on Xbox when it launched, and then I'm like, but how are they gonna play the other games?
Right. Xbox owners don't know nothing about this.
They're like,
And
oh,
it's like
it's the first game in the series.
Right.
Did they ever add the other ones to Xbox, or is it still just 3?
They did. I think they were all on Game Pass at some point too.
Yeah, but it was like a while after 3, I think, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
It was way before it came to PC though, so that's good on Xbox's end. And at least it's not a cloud thing. Looks at Switch. Who wants to play fucking Kingdom Hearts on a cloud?
Girl, you're gonna be like, ooh.
Especially that first game.
That's so terrible. Because like most people still don't use a wired connection, and if you're trying to play that on Wi-Fi, like streaming games is not really great on like Wi-Fi unless you have like 5G or something.
Also on a Switch, like that beats the purpose of it being like home console and handheld, because like good luck playing fucking Kingdom Hearts on like the Starbucks Wi-Fi or something. Like like mama.
Imagine trying to do the parkour at like 1 frame per second while you're lagging. Like that first game is hell already. Imagine doing that with like lag.
No.
That game's platforming like, oh, I made it, and then you just like lag and fall
just,
out of the platform. Yeah. Please. Well.
Yeah.
Should we share with the people what we've been playing?
Maybe so.
And what we've been up to these days.
Maybe we should.
Do you want to go
start.
first? Oh, come on, Wig. Brain cell over Wi-Fi.
I would like to talk.
You passed the brain cell to me.
I was literally gonna say, do you want to go first, Spin? And you, at the exact same time, you said, I'll go first. So that was weird and creepy. Not gonna lie. Feel a little invaded.
Other than sharing a brain cell with Ruby, I've been I'm back in Cookie Run. I was out for a while.
Okay.
And then the anniversary event got me back in. The promise of decorating the guild got me back in. And now I'm the official guild decorator for the Clown College. Yeah. And I take my job very seriously, and I feel like our guild looks beautiful.
Not biased at all.
I'm doing like a very like celestial, like magical, like lots of stars, lots of like magic kind of vibes. And I think it looks really cute, and I'm excited for us to expand the land so I can do more.
Yes.
I've been contributing candy sauce to that thing like nobody's business. I'm just like, I want to expand this.
Candy sauce.
What?
Yeah.
Me and Dex just being like, candy sauce.
When I see eggnog and tea night.
Anyway, is that it for all you've been playing, Spin?
I mean, I'm of course still doing Animal Crossing. I've been obsessed with flower breeding. So I've been just like trying to get every flower in the game. I've got enough green mums for my flower library, and that's like a very like big accomplishment for me. I feel very accomplished. And I also a couple streams ago I went on a villager hunt where I was like, either we're gonna find Sasha in this stream or we're gonna find him like in like 10 years. And right at the 3-hour mark when I was about to end stream, we found Sasha.
Yep, ruining everyone's bingo card.
Right. We're playing villager bingo and nobody got a bingo because we found Sasha in the one stream.
We got the bingo.
We got the only bingo that mattered.
Right. Sasha said, I'm the boom boom bingo.
Right.
So I love that for you.
So I love that for me too. Like I literally go into the game and I just like look at him and I'm like, he's here. He's so cute.
That is so
So
precious.
I've been very happy with that.
I love
What
that.
about you, Ruby?
Well, not really anything new per se. I did have a little bit of stumble on my Final Fantasy challenge. So,
do we want to talk about it? Do you want to tell people what you did to us?
But I will. What happened was, in Final Fantasy 2, I had a horrible idea of talking to someone that you're really not supposed to talk to. And they killed me. Imperial Guard destroyed all of my progress. I was doing so well. And then Final Fantasy 3, I died to literally 10 minutes in, 20 minutes in. Literally the first cave of the game. I didn't even have a full party yet. My party was in fact Dex and Spin, and both of them, I watched them both die to not even a boss fight. So, you know, that's what I've been up to.
Me and Dex were just baby, like little like level 1 girlies, and we were just like reaching each other's hands to each other as we slowly died in front of ourselves.
Yeah. Not my proudest moment. I also got to play Tomb Raider Angel of Darkness, which was certainly an experience. I was like, I don't know. I feel like I've heard about this game. Not really like, I didn't have a positive or a negative thing. I was just kind of like, I'm aware of this game existing. And oh boy, it's not the smoothest experience. It's not. I feel like the only interesting thing about it is the story, because it's kind of like, it looks like she killed someone, and it's like, oh, she's gone bad. She's a bad girl now, and everyone in the 2000s was like, that was a thing. Like everyone was like going dark and edgy and like, ooh, ooky spooky. Immediately has flashbacks to Shadow the Hedgehog, which was Sega's Good Girl Gone Bad era.
Okay, girl.
So, yeah, I haven't really been up to too much outside of that. I am very interested in, like, starting other games. Oh, yeah, I've been playing Pokemon Shield. I just beat another gym leader last night. The ghosty bitch. I forget the name, but it was...
My baby, my son, Alistair.
Yep. I remember the name. I knew that. Yeah.
Electric chair.
I literally, the only reason that I got Shield over Sword is because of him. I saw that spooky little kid, and I was like, I need, he's my son.
I did it for the Ponyta, but that's a good reason as well. That's a good reason. Honestly, I wasn't aware that there were going to be, like, gym leader exclusives until I bought the game. Like I only cared about like the Galarian Ponyta, and I was like, that's all I want. So yeah, I'm gay, I'm simple like that. Okay, listen. No, but yeah, I think that's basically it. But yeah, what about you, Koga? What have you been up to?
Still playing Yakuza Like a Dragon. Didn't progress in the story because I spent like 6 hours in this business management thing. Olden places making money, you get lots of money, and then you have like this shareholders meeting, which is pretty much kind of like paper, rock, scissors if you're leveling up your units. Yeah, I look, you need money in an RPG game, so that's my excuse. So also played Sound Voltex this week. They did like a pretty good update. They put some songs for sale, which I was excited about until I went to the store and realized I already have them. So that's nothing great for me, but good for people who may not have them, I guess. They're adding older songs that were there because every month they added songs, so they're kind of adding them back. But you had to go through this thing called Blastergate. Long story short, this is what I've noticed so far. You have to get this bar to 100%. You get 8% every time you complete a song. Then after you do that, then you get to go to this Blastergate section to unlock songs. You have to beat the song on the difficulty to unlock that one. If you do like the hardest difficulty, you unlock the rest of them. Luckily, as of right now, if you fail it, you still get it. But at some point, it's going to go like back to the arcades to where it's like, if you don't beat it, you don't get it. But after 20 tries, which, why you try 20 times? I don't know why, but it'll just give it to you. So it's a good way to unlock a few things. So I'm trying to not fall behind because that's limited time, of course. I've also been playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel that came out early this week at some point.
I forgot about that.
It's pretty.
I forgot about Yu-Gi-Oh!
I forgot about Yu-Gi-Oh!
Oh no. It's pretty good so far. It's just if you don't play this game, it's gonna be overwhelming a lot because this game is 20 years old and it has like almost every card in the game for the past 20 years. I haven't played like tournaments or anything since like 2011-ish. So I come back, there's a Link summon, there's a Pendulum summon. I got the Link one down pretty cool. Pendulum, what? Sure. There's so much text. People take forever on their turns. Like it's like it takes a card once per 30 seconds. People out there, hey. If you have been playing this game and you know this, you should know how your deck goes. You should know the in and out and have situational awareness. Stop taking forever. You take so long that by the time it gets to my turn, I've already thought like 2 turns in advance. It is no need for y'all to take that long. I've seen people take duels that'd be like 1, not 2 out of 3, 1, 30 to 40 minutes. Like, y'all need to chill. Like, throw your card out and take this damage. Okay?
To be fair, they are busy reading the essays written on each card.
Right.
So...
Yes, but if you've used it enough times, you shouldn't have to read it.
But the game just came out.
I mean, if it's for new... Yeah, that's why I'm saying for people who've played the game. But if you're, like, new, then I definitely understand. Because, like I said, it's a lot. It's a whole lot. And it is, of course, it's a gacha game, of course. So you gotta get gems to summon and stuff. It is a bit more free to play than Duel Links, though. Like there's like a crafting system, so you need like 30 points of a rarity. Then you can just craft like whatever card you want in the game of that rarity. So, and the game is right now, of course, because it just came out, it's giving you like a lot of gems.
Yeah.
Enough to where I think the limit you can have is 9,999, and then it sends it the rest to your gift box. And then after that, it's like, okay, you got a month to use these. I'm like, so I can't just hoard all my gems?
Meanwhile, I just spend all of mine in hopes to get a Dark Magician, and I still haven't gotten one.
Oh no!
Should have crafted it. I don't think I think the pack that it's in is the mastered pack or whatever. Which, for my thought, that pack kind of sucks because I think it has like every pack in the game, every card in the game in that set. Again, This game is 20 plus years old, so that's gonna take a while. But I mean, so far it seems cool to me. Like, it's if you're a person who was a fan of the card game, it's good. If you were hoping like it'd be like some of the anime, none of them are there. It has this like it's just downright real trading card game. So if you like that, it's great. But if you don't, well, at least it's free to play, so you didn't have to like spend your money on it. I think is that all I played? I mean, well, of course I played Dokkan because of course. Nothing special this week. I summoned, I failed. Thanks, game.
Well, the experience of a gacha game. Yeah, I definitely want to also give my 2 cents of my Yu-Gi-Oh experience because I forgot about it and I was so excited about it when it came out. So the funny thing is I was excited when it got announced, like either last year or a couple years ago, and then I forgot about it until I saw it on my timeline on Twitter, and I was like, oh, that game is out, and also it's free. Let me download it right now. The cool thing about it is that when you start doing like the gacha pools, which is basically just you essentially purchasing a card pack, is that if after you get a certain amount of, I think, rare cards or a certain amount of whatever, it actually unlocks like more specific packs based on the things that you've like drawn. So like I've gotten to the point where I do have. And you can only draw from those like within like 24 hours or something like that until you have to buy from like the more like broad packs, and then it will like go down again in size. So I've been trying to go on this very specific one that does have Dark Magician on the cover too, and I'm like, please just give it to me. At this point, I might just destroy some cards that I have and craft a Dark Magician. But yeah, as someone who, first of all, for the longest time thought that the game played like the anime, and then learned that the anime only later on started to kind of be, you know, in cahoots with the actual game, then it started making sense. But like the last reference that I have to Yu-Gi-Oh is Yu-Gi-Oh GX, which was still like fairly normal. Like they introduced like obviously like decks that were like related to the anime, but like the play style of it was still pretty like basic as far as like normal summons, fusions, and rituals and stuff like that. But now there's like, yeah, pendulum summoning, XYZ summoning, link summoning, all of these things that are very overwhelming. Honestly, at this point, I might just like watch a few episodes of each anime season to like be like, oh, okay, I get it, I understand. But yeah, it's a lot for me to learn, and it's very overwhelming. Like a lot of those like types of summonings, a lot of those cards have like full-on essays as descriptions. So it's a lot, but also they have like a lot of tutorials for each mode, for each type of summoning. You can play by yourself. There's kind of like a story mode, which I've skipped all the stories, so I have no idea. But there's like pretty much a story mode if you just want to play offline. But then I did try 3 different duels. I was like, let me build a little deck for myself, okay? I lost all 3 duels.
Oh, oof.
But I did have enough gems without spending any money to buy like their equivalent of a season pass, so I'm just getting more gems, so I don't care. I'm like leveling up anyways. Yeah, they're very like Koga said, like it's the very beginning of the game, so they're extremely generous with gems. So like I had enough gems so I could just literally buy the season pass without spending any money, and I'm just getting even more gems back, and I'm like leveling up and getting all these things. It's interesting. I might give it more of a shot before I get overwhelmed enough to rage quit and uninstall. But until then, stay tuned. Yeah, what about you, Dex? What have you been up to?
Well, I've been up to the usual. However, I do have a PSA. Hi, hello.
Oh, ASMR.
Do you have an Xbox? Are you hot? Are you sexy? If all of these answers are yes, Saints Row is now available on the Xbox Marketplace, the entire series, the entire franchise. Please go out and buy it now. Thank you.
Thank you for that PSA. It was very informative.
You're welcome. But yeah, Saints Row is available on Xbox Marketplace, which obviously I don't have an Xbox, but I am happy for bitches to be able to play it more. So now none of y'all have excuses. But also, I've just been, doing 14 as usual, just doing my little daily things, the daily grind. And then I've been playing Fortnite. And then last night, I played with the lovely Mona Rousseau on Fortnite and the new Jackbox game, 8, I think. And Job, best game in Jackbox history. Nobody can tell me otherwise. It is so funny and so fun. I highly recommend it. And I won a trivia game for once, so I was thriving. So last night was a great night.
Can we talk about OK Girls?
Yeah, we did. We did see a clip from that stream, and Dex did get a very weirdly, oddly specific niche question about K-pop girl groups.
Okay, so the whole first round, I'm just gonna go ahead and say this now. The whole first round, I got right, and I basically was going to win from the first round, right? So the first question was just about Godzilla, what are all the Godzilla creatures? And I was like, I don't fucking know. I ended up getting 11 out of 12 right and just getting it.
Oh, work.
Getting that question. So I was like, yeah. And then immediately after me just randomly getting that right, it was like, what girl groups have girl in the girl K-pop groups have girl in the title that are actual groups? It was so specific and targeted towards me. So me and one other person got 12 out of 12.
As you should.
Yeah, and then after that, there was a please enumerate question where we would have to type a random number. And I was like, how many, what was the most eggs laid by a chicken in a year? And I was like, they didn't teach me this in Chicken Run. And I just said 365 for 1 egg a year. And it was 371.
Not Chicken
Run.
I got it right.
Chicken Run.
I used your Chicken Run knowledge.
I used my Chicken Run knowledge actually, because I was like, they check the coop every day, so 1 a day, and I was right. So I was thriving. I've never been so happy playing a Jackbox game in that trivia game. So I won, and I just was like, I don't want to play anymore. I've accomplished what I needed to accomplish, and then we played Job, which basically, to describe it pretty simply, it's just you answer prompts and then people get your sentences and paragraphs that you wrote, and they can answer other prompts using the words you used on your prompt.
Oh god.
So it's just jumbling what everybody says everywhere else, and it's the funniest thing because you would fully say something completely innocent and somebody will twist it to say something absolutely cursed or funny, and it's the best game ever in Jackbox. Nobody could tell me otherwise. It is so good. So definitely, if y'all can play Jackbox Party Pack 8, I highly recommend it. It's really fun. But that's all I've been up to.
Yeah.
I'd love to get the girlies on that because I feel like it'd be iconic.
My god.
We just need to yell at Mana and then we could do it immediately, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I would like to see it.
Yeah.
Well, before we head off, should we tell the girlies really quick, the girlies and the gays and the non-binaries, where they can find us, where they can expect our content, our social medias and such? Yeah, okay. If y'all are into it, sure.
Yes, hi, I'm Dat. And you can find me at Twitter at DexterLaMass. And you can find me on YouTube and Twitch at DexterLicious. I'm still thinking of editing a video, so maybe I'll get around to it, but sometime soon. Maybe so. I might actually work on it this week, so fingers crossed. Yeah. And I'll hopefully get that out soon. So maybe I'll see something before next week. Maybe. What about you, Koga?
You can find me here on Twitch and Twitter at Koga_Jangles. Yep, still on a hiatus. What about you, Ruby?
Well, I'm not on a hiatus because I do not like myself, apparently. No, I'm just kidding. Kidding. It's a joke. It's fine. I'm okay. I promise. You can find me at Project Ruby on Ko-Fi. Spin, please. I need to block you. I cannot look at you. You can find me at Project Ruby on Ko-Fi, Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube. At Project Ruby, I've said it multiple times. I do have a video now up on Ko-Fi. Probably by the time that this episode is out, it will be up for everyone on YouTube. It's a little video that I made about my experience playing the best and the worst rated games of 2021. So definitely stay tuned. It's like 4 minutes. You can watch it while you're having your little poop break from work. And it's, it's fine. It's great. It's wonderful. So I definitely recommend you check that out. Yeah. Oh, yeah. This week, I'm going to have a fun little themed week. I'm going to have Game Pass choose what I play for a week. So I'm just going to boot up the app, hit randomize, and she's going to pick out a game. It could be a Bethesda game. It could be an indie game. It could be an EA game. At this point, I just hope I don't land on any sports games.
It'll be mass for mass games. I promise you.
Well,
I'm manifesting.
Thanks for manifesting. This is what friends do. They manifest awful things towards you. So I love that for me.
Maybe it'll be the Mass Effect Legacy Edition, Legendary Edition. You have to play 3 games.
Spin. Anyway, what are you up to?
You can find me clowning and cowing at twitch.tv/spinblend. You can also find me on Twitter at spinblend and on YouTube at linblend. I should have a new video up this weekend there.
Ooh.
And I'm also planning brainstorming a new Ko-Fi exclusive video series that you can find at ko-fi.com/spinblend. And you can also find my soap there at my shop. Right now you can find it at spinsoapcafe.com. I'm in the process of moving everything over to Ko-Fi. So links might be broken for a bit, but just bear with me. But you can find it at my Ko-Fi.
Yeah, do it. Well, that's it for the podcast, y'all. Thank you. Well, for this episode, not for the pod. Could you imagine? I just dropped the news
my
like
God.
that. And this is the end of the podcast. Goodbye.
This is the last episode. I've decided I hate all y'all.
Yeah, we have to get to 69 first. Then we'll think about it.
We have to at least get to episode 69.
At least 69.
Yeah, 69 is the goal. You know what I mean? But yeah, thank you so much for watching and listening to this clownery. If you made it this far on whatever platform you're listening to or watching, click on that, follow button, that like button, that subscribe button, whatever button you see that is free to click on it. And if it's not free and you want to click on it, listen, we're not going to stop you. So there's also that. But yeah, thank you so much. We appreciate you a lot. And we will be back next week with another episode. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.